Hey friends, I was in the garage anyway, doing pushing and pulling, lifting weights. So I thought I'd talk about pushing away from something versus pulling towards something, like pushing away from things you don't like versus pulling towards things that you like or find pleasurable or meaningful. Um, so I think maybe we can even like connect it to pain and pleasure. So like pulling towards pleasure, pushing away from pain, and we're constantly doing that in life. And there's been like many moments in my life where I was pushing away from things all the time, but I didn't yet have a meaningful thing to pull myself towards. So one thing that I always remember is when I was in high school, I I really didn't like it. I found it boring, etc. So I pushed away from it, and the one thing that I thought I'd want to get towards was a school which was more craft oriented, working with your hands and things like that. And that's what I like. My inner self wanted to like go there, but in the Netherlands, it's the case that the more practical schools are usually, or at least here, like lower in levels. I think in the US you have like SATs. You would need a lower SAT score to go to a practical school, and I had like high scores for, so I could do the high theoretical stuff, but I liked to do a lot of the practical stuff, but I didn't choose to go to the more practical school halfway during my high school years because I thought I would be seen as lower or not smart or however you want to call it. So I pushed away from the things in my high school, like the more theoretical side, all the time, because I didn't like it or found it boring, but also didn't have the guts or courage to choose to do the more practical side. So throughout my life, I've been on a journey of like pushing away from things, and the only things I pulled towards were usually pleasurable things like games or chasing women or whatever. Um, and it took a long time for me to find out what specific thing I wanted to like be pulled toward. And one of the things is like making stuff. So the more practical things, but also now like writing and doing videos like these, although these are well more hobby-like still. Building our house is a big one. Um, so, and I think I can connect it to something else as well. I think everyone has like this, like a few things that they would like fit really well with how they are, um, and but for some people it may be a thing that is pretty peculiar, like that's not often found. So you need to sometimes try a lot of different things, which also to get to the thing that you want to pull toward, which also means you have to push away, like do something and then push away from it because you didn't like it, and then try something else and push away, which can feel really uh, like if you like almost if you're schizophrenic in your choices or ADHD like maybe, um, because maybe you're interested in a lot of things but like lose interest quickly, but maybe there is like one or two things that can keep your interest for a long time, that are very meaningful, but it's difficult to find. So you need to search that like negative space of what's meaningful to you. Negative not as in bad, but negative as in if you find enough points of the thing that you don't want, suddenly a shape appears of the thing that you do want. In that sense, I mean the negative space. What else? So yeah, I think in maybe in early life you've been like maybe you fell out of the like the normal or average path, or like you weren't like the most kids in school, and it could be that due to that like the things that you liked were like suppressed, or you had to subdue them, and then you pushed them away. So it was really difficult then later in life to figure out what the thing is that you want to pull toward, the thing that you like doing, which means you can be it almost ties into like what's his name, Gabor Mate, I think, says around trauma causing ADHD. And I would say, let's say you you weren't accepted as a kid, you couldn't pursue your curiosities and the things you liked, um, so you suppressed that part of you, which also means it's more difficult later in life to access that part, which means you're constantly seeking, constantly trying out new things, but then dropping them because it's not the thing you like. But the thing you like is like locked up and hidden inside, which you can't access. And if you could access it, then it's much more easy to find that thing that you want to be pulled towards. So I think a lot of the searching around could be like unresolved trauma, maybe. Um, Maybe I'm just like telling a story around this to help myself understand, but I think it's a useful frame at least. So a question to you: what are the things that you're pushing away from, or have been pushing away from all the time, and have you found something that you like want to pull towards, which is not only for pleasure but also more meaningful? Okay, so that's it. Done. Bye bye.